So today's piece that I have selected is The Swan by Camille Saint-Saëns. Now this is not the same as Swan Lake. Swan Lake was ballet written by Tchaikovsky, a Russian composer. And in Swan Lake, you probably recall that there is a black swan and a white swan. Somehow the white swan turned into a black swan, right? So there's some deeper stuff in there. But the swan that we're going to talk about today is by a French composer by the name of Camille Saint-Saëns. And when he was writing it, he really was thinking of doodling, just like an artist who just scribbles stuff. And with him, he was just wanting to have some fun writing music, and he actually wrote a whole set called the Carnival of Animal. And so he was imagining a zoo. So the first piece was an introduction, and he thought of the lions. So he actually wrote about lions in the zoo. And yes, that was a zoo back in his day, because he was around the time 1880s. Yeah. Now, and so in the entire set of Carnival of Animals, there is an elephant, a lion, the swan, the pianist, whom I think he was trying to make fun of pianists practicing scales and just finger works, and some other animals that I forgot. But yes, this particular one, when Saint-Saëns was writing it, he really had the cello in mind. So now, the way I perceive this piece is really just the imagery of a swan swimming in the lake. There was no particular story, no turning into black swan or anything like that. So the ambient, the kind of atmosphere for this piece is really gentle and peaceful, right? So before we can start talking about the elements in this piece, let's just have a quick listen to the beginning section of this piece, and then we can talk about it. So I'm gonna just play the beginning phrases. Now, so the two things that I really wanted to talk about, now that we understand the kind of feel that we're looking for in this piece, and a little background from the composer and the reason he wrote this piece. There are really two things. Yes, I like the Swan too. And Swan Lake, of course, yes. That was a big ballet work. In fact, sometimes it takes companies 2 ballet dancers to complete the entire work in the performance, because it was so demanding. Yes, in this particular piece, there are 2 things that I really wanted to talk about. Is the number one thing is the allocation or the distribution of the bow. We know that this piece is in 3. However, if we just think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we are going to end up chopping the phrase. Saens wrote it in 6/4, not 3/4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 2 big groups of 3. And we know that as violinists, we have 3 notes in the bow, 3 notes in the bow. It's very easy to go 1, 2, 3, and then stop. 1, 2, 3, and then stop. We really want to create a long line. So one thing we have to be mindful is how we divide the bow. So we cannot change the bow length. This is just how long the bow will be. And you notice it's easy to find the middle of the bow, right? So let's do just a quick exercise. We're going to stop the bow in the middle. And then go to the tip. And then from the tip, back to the middle. And back to the frog. And you will notice that as you travel to the middle, naturally, your arm will create somewhat a right angle. So by the feel of it, you can tell you're in the middle. And a lot of times, mirror helps. So practice this in front of a mirror. So after you get comfortable with feeling and finding the middle of the bow, let's try to divide the bow in thirds. So we have three parts in the bow right now. So we want to stop every 1/3 of the bow. 1/3, 2/3, and we go to the tip, and we do the same back. 1/3, 1/3, and the last 1/3, right? Now you will notice the lower 1/3 is the heaviest because it's closer to the frog where there's a piece of metal to basically generate more weight and more sound naturally that way. And the tip is usually the lightest. So we need to be careful that at the lower 1/3 not to allow the bow to dig in. Rather, you want to balance the weight from the heavy side to the lighter side. Right. So this is one element. When we think about it, the elements that create sound is really the bow length, the bow speed, and the bow pressure, right? And where we put the bow. So just now we divided the bow in halves and in thirds. So one way we can practice or experiment with different bow length and bow speed is by spending some time to discover the effect of different elements on the bow, right? And every bow is different, so it takes some time to get used to the bow that you are using. But let's say we use half the bow this time. We divide the bow in half, and so the first half of the bow we're going to go slow, and then the second part of the bow we're going to speed up. So the bow speed is slow, fast. So let's try that. Get to the middle and speed up. Slow bow, get to the middle and speed up. So now, in order to have better control over the bow speed, you don't want to press on the bow at all with this exercise, because we are focusing on two elements: division of the bow and the bow speed. Because this is exactly what we need to execute the flow of the line in the swan. So now let's divide the bow in 3. And so we will do slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. Let's try that. A quarter slow, or a third fast, and then a third slow. Let's try that one more time. Slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. And then we want to reverse the exercise so that we don't always end up with the same pace at the same part of the bow. So let's try fast, slow, fast from the tip. Yes, I will take some time to work on each individual string. So for example, I will take 2-3 minutes on the A string, 2-3 minutes on the D string, and then maybe tomorrow I'll try E string and just pick a different string, make different combination out of it. So then you can feel totally comfortable where the 1/3 of the bow is, and whether you're moving it fast or moving it slowly. So let's put it together. As I said before, the Swan Lake, or the Swan here, is written in 6/4, so we really want to have a sense of 2 groups of 3, but in one big measure, right? So let's try to divide the bow in 3 this time. And so what I did was to basically do the math. So if I have 2 1/8 note, which equals a quarter note, I would still take 1/3 of the bow. But if I have a half note, I would take 2/3 of the bow. And if it's a dotted half, which equals 3 counts, I would take the whole bow. So the division of the bow will help to help with the flow of the piece. So that is the first thing that we need to be mindful of. And the next thing, that I like to discuss, the next element is vibrato, which will help to connect the lines together, right? And the way I will practice vibrato is simply to pick one string. Let's say on the A string, I will start with first finger, repeat it, I will always connect the bow with the old note, repeat the old note and connect it to the new note. And while doing that, try to keep the vibrato consistent, moving from the old note to the new note. And to illustrate, it's like passing the baton from the old note to the new note. And when you repeat the note, you connect it to the next note. And this is especially important when you have string crossing as well. So in this case, whether it's string crossing or shifting, the note before the shift or before the old string crossing has to connect to the note after the shift or after the string crossing. So it's important that we be mindful the old note needs to continue to vibrate into the new note. Yeah. So this way, it helps to connect two groups of 3 quarter notes and make it into a bigger line, longer line. Yeah, so today we talk about 2 things. We talked about bow division, dividing the bow in half and in 1/3. Another thing is consistency in vibrato, connecting the old notes to the new notes. And I will have more video on how I practice vibrato and how I practice bow division as well. We know that the Camille Saens, the Swan, mostly has 3 notes in a bow. However, what if we have 4 notes or 6 notes? For example, like for Faure, G.Faure Berceuse has a piece called Berceuse, and it's written in 6/8, so we naturally have then 6/8 notes or even 12/8 notes to a bow. So the idea is similar. We simply need to divide the 1/3 bow into another half, so we altogether will have 6 sections in the bow to use. Yes, so I would like to play a little bit of the G.Faure Berceuse so you get an idea, but I will have another video to show you how I will practice subdivision of the bow. So let's do a little bit of the G.Faure Berceuse. By the way, Berceuse means lullaby. So that was G.Faure Berceuse, and this piece is also posted on my YouTube channel. So if you like that, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sharon Young Violin, and click on the bell notification. Thank you. That way you will receive notice when I post a new video, and if when I do live concert on YouTube, you will also be notified. So that is for today's segment. Hope to see you next Tuesday for my live concert on Instagram, from Bach to Tango. So enjoy your weekend. I will see you next week. Goodbye.